Alright, first thing we're going to do for the pepper steak is put some rice into the microwave. I'm not going to boil it on the stove. This is the easiest way. Basmati rice, we're going to put in 1 cup. Well, it's not actually 1 cup. It's very close, but not quite. Okay, and then we're going to add 1 cup of water. And then it's almost double the water, but not quite. Almost double, not quite. Okay, then we're going to add a little bit of salt to that. Alright, a little bit of pepper. Okay, that's it. That's all you need. I'm going to throw this in the microwave. I'm not sure how long. I'll let you know in a minute. I think it's probably about 7 minutes. But I'm going to start it on 6 minutes and we'll come back to we'll come back and see if we need more time. Okay. Okay, while the rice is cooking, we're going to cut up everything we need for the pepper steak. Alright, first of all, here's what you need. You need a bottle of what they used to call Burgundy. I don't know. Today they don't call it Burgundy anymore. They call it Cabernet Sauvignon, blah blah blah, some French shit. But anyway, any deep dark red wine that's not sweet. You don't want a sweet red wine. You want something dark. Alright, you're going to need pepper, an onion, and a tomato. Tomatoes are optional. You don't need them. If you want to use asparagus or green beans or just about any vegetable, you can. I mean, that's a good thing about cooking, is that it's you know, you can add stuff to taste, you know. With baking's different. Baking is chemistry. So yeah, I mean, you can add walnuts to raisin bread, but as far as, you know, replacing the yeast with baking powder or something like that, forget it. You know, you can't do it. So anyway, onion, pepper, tomato, burgundy. You need garlic, salt, pepper, and I put red pepper flakes in just about everything I make. Just enough for flavor, not to make it hot. Of course, you could leave them out if you want, but it just gives it a backup flavor. You know, you want as much flavor as possible. Okay, also, you're going to need some beef bouillon, beef stock, or I'm going to cheat and I'm using this stuff right here, this beef bullshit here, whatever this is called, I forget. Okay, alright, so here's what we're going to do. Hold on. Now, it's real nice if you can use a wok. If you have a wok, this is a real fast, you know, 1, 2, 3 thing and it's over. If you don't have a wok, you got to use a frying pan. But the main thing is that you make it very hot. You're going to have to fry it hot. That's the main thing. You want the onions and the peppers and the beef to caramelize. Alright, I just heard the microwave go off. Hold on 1 second. No, it's not done at 6 minutes, so we're going to give it another 2 minutes on the basmati. So we're going to slowly warm the pan up a bit. Now in the meantime, you can cut your vegetables. Green peppers, the best way to do it is just cut them down the middle and pull the seeds out just like that. Nothing to it. 1, 2, 3. They just come right out. Alright, hold on, let me move this a little bit. Alright, the onion. Now, you can make your onions thin. I mean, you can make them big or little. It depends. Same thing with the peppers. If you have little kids, yeah, you want to make them small. If you have adults, yeah, you make them bigger. It doesn't really matter, you know. But I'm figuring we have adults, so that's what we're going to do. Alright, the tomato you don't use until the end. The tomato goes in at the end. It's not, you don't want to cook the tomato. You just want to put it in and heat it. And again, you can chop it up any size you want. You know, you don't have to have it big, huge pieces. You can make it small if you want. That's up to you. Alright. Here's our veggie. The onion and the pepper is going to cook at the same time. I'm going to put just a little bit more onion. That onion doesn't look quite big enough. There we go. Okay. Alright, so we got 3 different colors there, which looks kind of nice. Okay. Then we have some parsley. Hold on, let me get it. We got some Italian parsley we're going to put in at the end. We're not going to chop this stuff very much, just a couple chops. There went the microwave. That means the rice is probably done now. I like using this parsley because it shows up a little better. You know, it's nice and big, and like I say, you don't have to chop it much. Just a couple times, and boom, you're done. All right, that goes in at the end also. We're not going to try to fry that because it'll it browns and then it gets bitter. So forget that. All right, let's check the rice. Hey-o. Woo, man, yeah, the rice is done. Okay, now wait, let me show you the rice. Hold on. There you go. Here's the rice. Now, I'm gonna leave the lid on it here and let it steam. That's what you want rice to do. You want it to steam. Okay, now in the meantime, we are going to take the onions and the peppers. And we're going to fry those in the whatchamacallit, but not quite yet. Hold on. Alright, here's what I did. I bought a nice porter T-bone. It actually looks like a porterhouse, but it's a T-bone. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the fillet off, and I'm going to keep the fillet for later. I'm going to freeze this. This steak was 13 bucks. Now, you can use a lot cheaper meat. I'm going to show you a little invention here. It's called a jacquard. Hold on. Let me get this off. Okay, there we go. There's Mojo's bone right there, man. He's going to love that. Okay, this I'm going to wrap up and freeze. Alright, like I said, you can use cheap meat. Here's a little thing right here. Alright. This thing is called a jacquard. Here it is right here. It's made in Switzerland, I believe. Alright, and what it is, it's a tool with a whole bunch of needles. Can you see the needles? Okay, here's what you do. Now, like I said, you could use very cheap meat for this. I personally am not going to use cheap meat, but you can. I mean, you could do this with a $5 steak. All right, here's what you do now. You take the jacquard and you start pounding. Okay, now every time I pound, all those needles are going into the meat. All those needles, every one of them. Pow, 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 pow. Bing, bing. And it's tenderizing the shit out of it. This machine is dynamite, man. This thing is really dynamite. You know, we get grouper down here in Florida. And sometimes the grouper is tough, believe it or not. The fillets are tough sometimes. And that little machine right there, man, makes up for any toughness at all. Alright, now we're just going to cut this up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it, let's see, 3 times. And then make them about, oh, I don't know, 1.5 inches, 2 inches big, like that. Okay. This one I'm only cutting once, and do the same. Okay. All right, now that's ready to go in. The bone is ready to go into the oven, and the rice is done. I need a little bit of wine. All right, I'm gonna put the pan back on the oven, and I'll meet you at the stove. Okay, here we go. It's a little bit loud. I've got the exhaust fan on. There's a little bit of olive oil. Now the main thing is that you have this pan hot. That's the main thing. We're going to throw in our veggies, our peppers and onion. Alright, we want them to caramelize. We got to get this hot. That's the main thing. That's why I say if you have a wok is a much better tool to cook this with. I have a wok, but it's electric, and it just doesn't do the job. It doesn't heat up enough. So we're using this thing instead. But this is nice. It's getting caramelized. You can see. The onions here are caramelizing, the peppers. They start to give off a, you know, a heavy smell when they caramelize. One thing I forgot to tell you that you need is roux. You gotta have roux. And I'll explain that in a minute. Anyway, here we go. We're starting to caramelize here a little bit. We're almost there. This is the very, very simplest thing you can make. It's unbelievable how easy this is. Okay, alright, that's good. That's all we need on that. We're going to put that in here. Okay, we're going to heat the pan up again. And we're going to put in the meat. Now, with a wok, you could do them both at the same time, but we don't have that. So we're going to go with the meat. We need a little bit of olive oil. Don't be afraid of the smoke. Let it smoke. It's not going to hurt anything. All right, again, we want to let it. We want the meat to brown. Like I said, don't be afraid of the smoke. Smoke is nothing. Alright. Okay, now what happens is, you know, there's a lot of burnt stuff. You know, it looks burnt on the pan. It's not really burnt. But a lot of the juices, you know, turn the pan brown. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to deglaze the pan with the burgundy, which is really not burgundy, it's Saint-Brégon, Gabagnon, Saint-Brégon, blah, blah, blah. Alright, you don't really need a lot either, you just need a little bit. And you know what you can do is, oh, by the way, the burgundy for the kids, the alcohol is going to be released as soon as I pour it into here. That's it. You need, what was that, maybe 3/4 of a cup? Okay, now the alcohol now is evaporating. Alcohol evaporates at a very low temperature. So that's what it's doing. It's evaporating right now. Okay, now we're going to throw the veggies back in. Alright, and we're going to add the seasoning. Okay, we're going to let that evaporate out of there. got pepper. We got garlic powder, or granulated garlic, or fresh garlic. If you use fresh garlic, you have to saute it. You have to put it in with at the end of the onion and green pepper. We got the red pepper I told you about. Not much, just that much. It's not much. It's just a little bit, just enough to say you care. There you go. A little bit of salt, not a lot. Not a lot of salt because the beef bouillon has a lot of salt in it. Alright, so there you go. The wine is almost gone. Okay, this is roux. This is flour and butter, and I bake it. So you can cook it on the stove if you want. Alright, we're done. The pan is deglazed, the wine is almost gone. I'm going to add the beef. There goes the beef stock, or the bouillon, or whatever you're using. Alright, now we're going to add a little bit of roux. The roux is the thickening agent. It's good to have roux on hand. Just make some up and you can put it in, you know, 2-ounce portions, and you can put them in the freezer, you know. Or if you do a lot of cooking, you can just leave it like it is. You can refrigerate it or not refrigerate it, either way. But it's good to have roux on hand. There it is. Now wait. Now wait a minute. We're almost done. We've got the roux is going to start to break down here. It's going to start to make it thick. Might need a little more. You know, it's always good to use your hands, because with your hands you can feel how much, you know, like when you season, you know. If you use your hands, you can feel how much seasoning you're putting in. If you're just sprinkling out of a can, it's kind of hard to judge how much you're putting in. Alright, now look at that. The roux is cooking now. I see a couple little more lumps of roux. We'll just let that go down. Roux is nothing but butter and flour. You can use margarine if you want. Hell, you could use salad oil if you want. But the butter is the good taste, you know. Alright, just a little bit more roux. You could use cornstarch here too if you wanted. You don't have to use roux. You can use cornstarch. That's the good thing about this dish right here. You know, I suppose you probably could make this out of ground beef if you wanted. I don't see why not. You're going to pour it over rice. It's got all the good shit in it. All the, you know, vegetables. You can use green beans, fresh green beans, asparagus. You could use broccoli, cauliflower. It doesn't matter, man. You can use whatever you want. Okay, now we're going to add the tomato and the parsley. There we go. Now look at that. You got dinner for 4 for the cost of that steak, which was 13 bucks. I'm going to add a little bit of water. You got to be careful with roux. Sometimes you make it a little too thick, which is exactly what I just did. That's alright, there we go. Man, this stuff here is gourmet, I gotta tell you. This is very good schmutz. Alright, also when you use roux, you have to let it boil. That's what cooks the roux a little bit. You know, it takes the flour taste out. If you don't let it boil, you're going to end up with a flour taste. put it over the rice. All right, here we go. Here's our Christmas dishes. Man, there is nothing better than basmati rice, I'm telling you. I'm completely hung up on basmati rice. The stuff is just the best. Whoo, man, that smells good. Now, you know, if you wanted to, you could add some cilantro, spice it up a little bit, make it a little bit Mexican-y. If you wanted to, I don't see why not. That's a good thing about cooking, is you can do anything you want. You know, anything that you like, you just add it. You know what I mean? Just put it in there. There you go, folks. Pepper steak, and I mean, man, that stuff is easy. All right, I'm going to eat. See ya.